own an indoor playground geared for ages 0 to 8. We host birthday parties, walk-in play, events, and just a lot of community activities. We are doing a revenue of about $250,000 since 2020.
Mm-hmm.
So we opened our first location in June of 20, and that was unintentional. We made it through. And we just opened our second location this past August, which is about 45 minutes south of our first location.
Mm-hmm.
The goal is to have another 2 locations in and around the Baton Rouge area. But after those initial 4 are open, I'm struggling where to take the business from there.
Mm-hmm.
Our business model is super scalable. It's easy to open up, but I do not have the capital to be able to grow as fast as I would like. So I'm trying to figure out if I should focus more on corporate-owned with investors or maybe look at the franchise route.
Okay. I have chosen to do neither. Instead,
okay, well, that's a good option too.
Yeah, third option is grow slower, and I guess that would be corporate-owned, if you want to call it that, but not investors. And so we grow at the speed of organic cash, and if these things are carrying no debt and they're all profitable, 5 of them are going to generate enough to open another one ever so often. 10 of them are going to generate enough to open another one ever so often. That's half that time, right? So the cash flow is going to have your expansion for you once you hit some critical mass on the numbers. And you will have to obviously create an operational template that looks like franchising, but it's just for your corporate operation that does that. And you could cut your general manager or whatever their title is at each location in on the profits from that location as part of their comp plan. As a matter of fact, I'd want them to have a true self-employed mentality and run a P&L on each location and let them participate in their location's profitability.
I like that.
And that makes them feel partner-esque, but they're not technically a legal partner. But I wouldn't use investors to grow that. I would let do what you've done before, and that's organically cash flow your expansion, avoiding debt. The franchise side, we can address that. We work with a lot of franchisees and a few franchisors in the EntreLeadership brand that do very well. And you can go that route. Typically, the model is on something like you're doing that you as the franchisor will receive an upfront check per location to open up, $20,000, $50,000, $100,000, whatever. And then you would receive a percentage, 7.5%, 8.5% or something like that of gross revenues as a royalty.
Mm-hmm.
And for that, they get your name and your operational template and any operational things you have that are proprietary. If you've got some software or you've got a marketing thing or something that's different. So, the smaller you are, the harder it is to sell a franchise.
Right.
Getting 100 the first 100 franchisees is obviously the most difficult thing. And then taking it huge is the next thing. But at that point, you're no longer in the playground business. You're now in the franchisor business. Your job is not to manage playgrounds anymore. Your job is to manage the relationships with the franchisee. And franchisees and franchisors have a love-hate relationship. It works like this. The franchisee buys the franchise from you in order to get your name, your operating template, and to live their dream of operating a small business. And they think that you have some special sauce that's going to help them have a higher likelihood than if they did it on their own of being successful. And so they love you. And you love them because they give you money up front, and then they give you 8.5. 5 years later, if they're unbelievably successful, they think it's because of them, not you. and they start to resent the 8.5% royalty that they're paying you. And you think the reason they're successful is because of you, not because of their hard work. And the truth is, it's both. They're successful because of you and because of their hard work. And they should honor their deal and keep using your name and keep doing this. But they want to get out of the franchise agreement and go open their own because now they're an expert playground operator, and now you get into all that junk, right? So that's part of the franchisor process. Is it's just there's a lot of relational management, and you have to hold them accountable for sticking to the standards of your brand. You don't get to build a Subway sandwich two different ways. There's only one way to build a Subway sandwich, right? And so
Right.
You're managing all of that. I will also tell you that the setup of becoming a franchisor and starting is super expensive. You've got these franchise disclosure documents that are as thick as an old-fashioned phone book, and they cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in legal fees to get that set up and get it ready, or $50,000 in legal fees to get it set up and get it ready. And it basically says all through this document all the different ways the franchisee is going to lose money, and they have to sign this disclosure because there's been so much fraud in this space. And so the feds are up in your business all the time while you're dealing with this, Federal Trade Commission. So franchising can be a huge deal. It can be a boon for the franchisee, it can be a boon for the franchisor, but those are some of the negatives that people don't see going into it that I'm well aware of because we've walked with people through them in every one of those situations. So if I'm you, for that reason, I'm going to avoid that. If I'm you, I'd rather just own it. I can control it. I can fire the guy if he's not running it, and I can get the thing back on track, and or we can close an unprofitable location because it's a bad location, that kind of thing. And I don't need partners reading my mail every week trying to figure out how I'm running something. The only ship won't sail is a partnership, and that's what an investor is. It's an unsaleable ship. So I think you got a great idea. I think you trust you, and you grow you. That's what I would do if I were in your shoes. But, of course, you get to do it either way, and we're going to love you and help you whichever of these three routes you choose to go. We don't mind. I don't think you're horrible if you do any of them, but I'm just telling you what I have done, what I would do, and I'm an expert on my opinion. So that's our whole process there. Proud of you, Christine. Sounds like you got a good business and good business head. You're doing some great things there. Keep it up. Never, never, never quit. Push on, baby. Push on.